Hey everyone, welcome back to the Not Just Politics podcast. Today's conversation is with Caitlyn Scott, her fourth time on the show. She was in town for a Point Park alumni event, so we popped into the studio real quick to record a quick episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. We talked about media and the election and getting young people out to vote, which have been similar themes from some previous episodes. I hope those aren't getting worn out for the listeners and the watchers. We thank you all for your support. Go check out Caitlyn's stuff. We'll link everything in the description. And with that being said, enjoy. Are you going to be following any local election stuff?
Yeah, I will be covering some. I don't know exactly what the format is going to be, but I know that since I will be on evenings, I'll probably be there until like 11, 12, 1, just kind of like seeing, what areas are, projecting and then, what other local affiliate stations are commentating on and stuff. So, yeah, I'm very intrigued about that. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think's going to happen? If you had to predict right now who wins right now?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I personally would say Donald Trump still, just because I don't necessarily feel that Kamala Harris can really answer on a lot of policies, and we still don't really, at least from my perspective of things, I don't really know exactly what her plans will be once she's in office. I mean, from some of the videos that I've seen of people going around and interviewing people who are you voting for, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? And all the people that say Kamala Harris because she's a woman and because of this, and they'll ask them what policies and stuff of hers have you liked, or what have you liked from her since her vice presidency? And everybody's just I don't know, she's a woman. That's not it. It's not an excuse to me. I mean, if you support her, that's one thing, but have a valid reason as to why. And I just feel all of the people that I talk to that are in favor of Kamala Harris don't necessarily really have a formulative reasoning as to why they're wanting to vote for her. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. Well, if you're watching the media, if you're watching those compilations, they're going for a certain thing.
Right.
So if anyone does have a valid reason, they're probably not making the video.
Right. I mean, that's fair, but
if it's conversations you've had in person,
yeah,
that's a different story.
Yeah.
We're just kind of catching up, honestly. We haven't spoken in a while, so I just have a lot of questions about a lot of things.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
We didn't talk at all about, not to God, I've talked about this on every single episode. People are going to get sick of this.
Is it going to be about the Trump shooting?
Well, it's going to be.
I knew it. How did I know?
Yeah. Yeah, what did you think about that?
Honestly, this is going to sound really sad, but I'm not necessarily surprised. I guess I am surprised of when it happened, just because, obviously you're not going to have a hint of when something like that is going to happen. But I thought that it would have occurred probably during his presidency the first time, not during his candidacy for the second time. So that was a little bit surprising.
Candidacy for the third time.
Oh, yeah. Wait, third time? What? Wait.
Well, candidate in 2016.
That's right.
Well, he was the incumbent in 2020.
Yeah, so that's kind of why. Okay. No. Right. Okay.
Right.
I lost my train of thought now. That distracted me. I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. I want you to tell me if I'm saying something wrong or if I'm not understanding something. So,
I wasn't thinking about the fact that since he's the incumbent, he's not really a candidate.
Yeah.
I guess that's I don't know. Is that a distinction that is made? I don't know. People have already shut this show off.
Yeah,
they've already
quit.
Turned off this episode.
Yep. They heard Trump shooting and then they were automatically click done.
No, they're done.
Well, I mean, too, I'm the most boring guest, so obviously they just quit.
What did you? So, as someone that works in media, what was your reaction to the way the media covered that story?
Honestly, I thought that it was very quick, a lot quicker than usual. Because usually, outlets and stuff will be taking a diver deep into okay, so who was this kid? What exactly was his purpose? What did he do? And I just felt that aspect of it, of getting to know who the shooter was and his potential reasoning as to why, that was just kind of swept under the rug very quickly. So that was kind of something that I kind of thought was surprising, because everybody was oh my God, Trump has been shot. Who exactly did this? But it was more, I guess, swept under the rug because it was more of a focus on like FBI security and the Secret Service and that kind of thing, which I mean, that's important to, disclose. I'm not saying that that's not, but as far as like, the shooter himself, like I had seen like news articles now, mainly from the right, saying that, oh, he had all kinds of offshore accounts and stuff and he was doing all of this stuff. And it's just kind of like, why? If this was the case, why aren't more people looking into that? And I mean, like, I'm not even just saying like, like conservative outlets. I'm just saying like in general, why aren't people taking a bigger interest in that? And I thought that was very surprising.
Yeah, it seems like it left the news cycle really fast.
Yeah.
No one's really talking about it.
Yeah, because I know that even like Melania Trump had released a statement saying like, about like all this stuff that like happened with my husband and stuff. And, it was kind of swept around like so quickly. And it's like now you don't even really talk about it. And I mean, even like the second assassination attempt at the golf course and stuff. I know that Ron DeSantis today put out a statement saying that the state of Florida will be investigating it on its own because now all of a sudden you don't really hear about that as much in detail either anymore. So I don't know if it's necessarily because it's like, oh, it's Donald Trump, nobody really cares. Maybe some people are hoping for that. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm just assuming, like, what, I don't really know what people's assumptions are, but maybe that's what some people are assuming. Maybe these news outlets are just kind of like, it happens. Just move past it. But
yeah,
you would think that it would be a lot bigger deal because, I mean, like, when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, Ronald Reagan shooting attempt, that was in the media for like months and months and years still. We still talk about JFK.
Yeah.
And it's like, we get 2 weeks on Donald Trump. And I mean, no matter what your political affiliation is, that's still huge. I don't care who it is. That should be something that is talked about for months and months and months to the point where you get sick of it, essentially. That was my whole rant on that. That was a lot longer than I expected, but
Ron DeSantis probably finally perked up because that guy can be in the headlines again. Because I didn't hear about him for months.
Yeah,
months. I mean,
it's been a while.
He dropped off the face of the news cycle. Like one day, we heard about him every week for like years, and then all of a sudden there was nothing.
And then now he's back.
Faded away after he was beefing with Trump and that fake thing that they did.
Mm-hmm. Now, how do you feel? Not to interrupt you, but how do you feel about the media coverage of it? I'm interested in your perspective on it.
I don't know. I felt like there were some sources on the left that were like really reluctant to say that he got shot or got shot at even. There were some that were... The really interesting thing was that Breitbart was the first story that reported on the fact that it might have been shards of glass that hit him instead of a bullet. Like the bullet hit glass, and the glass is what cut his ear, which is just really interesting. Like that's a really right-leaning source, and they were one of the first people to report. I think maybe one of the only people to
because I haven't seen that anywhere.
Because I was still interning. I was still with All Sides at the time, so I was doing a headline roundup with Claire, and I remember that was one of the things that we looked at. But it was...
I miss the All Sides crew, by the way. Shout out to All Sides. I miss you guys.
For real. We have to get somebody from there back on the show. We're going to maybe try to do something with them for the election, but I'm not sure. I talked to Andrew about something briefly. But, yeah, I don't know. It was very strange. It's tough now. Like, I'm even now having trouble. This is how insane everything is. I already forgot kind of like exactly what they were saying from the stuff that I looked at. But
and I mean too, because it was also going back. It was so quick.
So yeah, it was so
that
fast.
It was like
I didn't like all the conspiracy theories about the kid. People that were like he's a deep state operative or whatever. I just don't. I mean, there's no proof. Yeah. I just didn't see any proof that pointed in that direction.
And two, I kind of hate the fact, and this might be like an unpopular opinion, like I hate when people say, or like in a sense somewhat try to justify where they're like, oh well, he was bullied in school. That's still not an excuse to go and attempt to assassinate a former president. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, I understand that, like, bullying and stuff, and like, the effects like with mental health, that's like a big issue that needs to be addressed, but that shouldn't be used as an excuse to justify this kid's actions just because he was young.
Yeah. And I also thought that I heard too many people that were on the left in person say things like, oh, damn, maybe he shouldn't, what if he didn't miss? I hate that he missed, which is insane.
And I mean, too, at the end of the day, it goes back to like, no matter what side you're on, this is a husband. This is a father. This is somebody's friend.
Yeah, it's
like, have some kind of like compassion or like, sympathy, empathy, one of those terms that makes sense for that because I can't think of which one is which. Same thing. But it's like nobody thinks about that anymore. And it's just because he's pushing a political ideology I don't like. Well, somebody might not like, the same kind of sandwich that I like, but I don't necessarily say I can't be friends with you or I don't still acknowledge you as a human being just because you don't like it. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah, people were a little bit too sad that kid didn't actually hit Trump. I gotta kill him. Because my thought was, and I've said this before on the show, my thought was like, do you guys not understand that the martyr complex that this guy's been running on for the last 4 years, that's all this is gonna do. It's just gonna turn him into more of a martyr, or more of a champion if he gets.
It's gonna make him more popular. Like I've driven through certain areas of Allegheny County that used to 4 years ago were populated with Joe Biden signs. Now populated with Trump signs.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that tell you? I mean, granted it's only a smaller area, but I mean, still there is a change going on because of all of that.
Yeah. And now this second guy, who was at the golf club, what was that, last week? How many days ago was that?
I think that was last week.
Yeah, it was last week.
Like last Saturday? Sunday?
Something like that.
Last Sunday, I think it was. Last Sunday.
I didn't even really look. I mean, this is messed up to say, but I didn't really look into that one. It didn't seem as. Now, obviously, it's an attempted, right? There were gunshots that rang out. Thankfully, nobody was injured. Mm-hmm. It didn't seem as severe in quotes as the one in Butler because Trump didn't actually get hit. Or,
right.
It wasn't actually there. There was a decent amount of distance between the two still.
Right.
But I did look into that guy a little bit, and it's just, I mean, he's like he was like a COVID conspiracy theorist who also thought that America should go over and fight in the Ukraine. He was apparently trying to rally support. He was trying to go over there and fight in the Ukraine. So this is a COVID conspiracy theorist, pro-Ukraine guy who wrote some book that I didn't even look into, and half of his hair is dyed blue.
Right.
It's just an interesting character.
Yeah.
He's an interesting character. It's just, you look at him and you're like...
See, I didn't look too much into his background. He sounds like a very interesting character.
It's just I saw a really funny meme about him. It was just the political compass with the 4 different squares,
mm-hmm.
just the 2D one.
Mm-hmm.
And someone applied the swirl filter to the middle of it, so they were just all bent in on each other. And I was like, that's what this guy is. This is really, you can't pin him on anything.
That's an accurate representation of that, 100%.
It was just, it's wild. It's really crazy to think that now there's been 2 people that have tried to assassinate this.
And I mean, too, I find it very funny that there have been a lot of reports saying that the public, regular citizens, were the ones that had to turn in to police and then tell Secret Service that, hey, there's a guy walking here with a gun.
Oh, yeah, that stuff was, it was just all, that whole thing was
just...
It was just very strange.
Yeah, and then some people had to take pictures of his license plate, and then after they got him on the highway, and it's just kind of what is going on?
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's very strange.
Yeah.
Who do you think shoulders the, what do you think about the narrative that media is responsible for stuff like that?
I guess responsible for the influence? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, Trump. So, the left, Claire made a good point about this. She had kind of written a blog about it on the All Sides website. Mm-hmm. And I think the Free Press wrote something about this as well. That the left for years ran with that narrative that that rhetoric was responsible for political violence, right? AOC. I wish I had the thing. I wish I had it in front of me. But AOC, right. I think one time said that there was a segment on Tucker Carlson's show on Fox that was responsible for an increase in death threats that she got, which is reprehensible. But there was this thing she was saying that, the media that she had consumed was responsible for that. And so they ran for that narrative for years, and the right was always the one saying no, there's separation there. The rhetoric is not a single causality to violence. There's always the personal responsibility. that individual chose to do that thing, regardless of what media they consumed. But now recently, after these 2 assassination attempts, Trump is saying things like, oh, okay, the rhetoric of my political opponents is the reason why the bullets are flying. So he's essentially
blaming the other.
He's utilizing the same argument that was leveled against him for years.
Right.
He's the one using it. Do you think that, does rhetoric equal violence? Do you think?
I feel like it could go both ways, because I mean, it's not only like, how like a specific media outlet covers something, but it's also how it's received by the person who's reading it. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it solely creates violence, but I mean, I think it gives a good opportunity for somebody to think about causing violence, if that makes sense at all. Because, I mean, it just depends on how the person is taking it. So, I mean, I could see it both ways, but it just kind of depends on the person.
Yeah. Because my thought is, like, there is an argument that those are, like, 2 separate conversations. That there's a certain conversation to be had about the actions of an individual. That they chose to do that action. And then there's a separate conversation that that I think kind of you're right. It's like that media isn't necessarily helping.
Right.
Like they're kind of pouring gasoline.
It's definitely not helping. Like, especially like, Fox News, CNN, all just the political, like I'm more so specifically saying like political media outlets, just but I mean they don't help to the cause. They don't make it better. I mean they do essentially make it worse. But I mean, again, it just starts off of how is that person taking it, and then the further that they dive into it, then that's where I would say kind of the political outlets are kind of not making it any better. They're kind of ensuing probably some thoughts into people.
Yes, but there's also, I guess, as part of the argument is like that person chose to turn on the TV. That person chose to consume that media.
I mean, Well, I mean, too, with social media, too, I mean, you get put into an algorithm that sometimes you don't necessarily, want to be in, or that you don't necessarily want to see, and then after it just kind of pops up. So, I mean, how do you avoid it?
Delete Instagram off your phone. That's what I do.
Okay.
I just delete Instagram. Yeah, I just don't go
Instagram
on.
is like a big political thing for you, where you get a lot of political stuff.
Yes.
For me, it's like
it's
Twitter. Like, I mean, Instagram, it's only like if I personally choose to see it. But if I don't personally choose to see it, then 9 times out of 10, I usually don't.
Yeah, I'm not on Twitter.
I have it
at
for
all.
work now.
Yeah,
but
I'm not.
I follow all Pittsburgh media, so I mean, that's all just Pittsburgh media based. So.
Yeah, I'm only ever on Instagram, and YouTube gives me a lot of like weirdly political stuff too. Like Charlie Kirk invades my YouTube feed every 7 months, and I just have to.
Well, and too, I mean, the political ads that are just seen too on YouTube. I mean, not specifically Charlie Kirk, obviously, but I mean, you get a lot more political influence on YouTube, regardless of whether or not your feed is full of it or not. Just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get 18,000 pieces of mail from Kamala Harris and Donald Trump every single week in my mailbox.
Really?
Just flyers and pamphlets from super PACs, and
I
don't even know who these people are, talking about how Kamala Harris is a communist, which, as we talked about on the show last week, is not real. She's not a communist. This needs to stop. How Donald Trump is whatever, and then I got one that's really funny. I wish I could. Maybe we'll throw it in post. Who knows? I have a picture of it though, because you need to see this. I unfortunately didn't take a picture of the back, but this made me laugh so hard. It's a flyer that I got from some sort of super PAC or somebody. I don't even know. Maybe it says on there. I don't even know who made this.
No, wait.
But I almost couldn't believe that this was real. I almost couldn't believe that this was real. It is a flyer that says "I vape,
I vote."
And yeah, once you're done, I need to read this for the people because it is just...
Wait, I got it. This year, your vote is crucial to protecting your freedom to vape, and the Democrats aren't helping. Wait, I got to do it in a news voice. That's what I'm trying to strive for. Wait, hold on. Oh my God, I can't see.
I might just like read it as Trump as a bit on my Instagram. Just read it as Trump.
Oh,
like,
you
I
should.
think there should be a skit of Trump vaping. Should we do a skit? Should I get into my Trump costume?
Wait, you should. You should.
Should I do this for
Yes.
YouView, or I should do this for Snooze? I should do this for something.
Carson, all of the above.
I should go
all
on
of the above.
Instagram with the. I should start because I don't.
Put a poll on Not Just Politics Instagram and then see what the viewers decide.
I might just do it. We might just do it.
Or just do it.
I don't even care what the people think. I'll just do it. I just do it.
Carson doesn't care about you, but Caitlyn does. I vape, I vote.
I'll just start, because I don't vape anymore, but I'll just start vaping again in my Trump costume. I'll blow a huge cloud of
That's
smoke.
Not good if you stopped vaping to start vaping for a bit, because then it's just going to continue again.
But I'll throw it away after that. I'll throw it away.
That's what they all say.
I'll borrow someone else's vape, but maybe
Ew.
That's
gross.
Whatever. You know.
Ew.
Listen.
COVID.
I will.
COVID's real. God, ew.
No one talks about COVID anymore. But
I actually
listen,
had COVID.
I don't want to spend this too much longer, but I'll get in the Trump costume. I will start vaping. I will blow a huge cloud of smoke into the camera right at the people's faces.
Would Point Park allow you to do that?
I'll do it in my apartment, so Point Park doesn't have any control over this.
Good. Okay. Well, I was about to say, if you're going to do it for
I won't do it in this studio.
What is it, Snooze?
For Snooze, I'll still just do it in my apartment. Maybe we'll find a way to make it happen. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But it literally says here, it says on this pamphlet, it says vaping saves lives. Protect your freedoms. Vote this year. Vote conservative. So somehow, I don't even know who put this out, but somehow, where does this say this is from?
That's definitely trying to appeal to Gen Zs for sure.
This is like but it's all like older folks on the pamphlet. It's like there's not young people on this pamphlet.
Grandpa's getting hip with the times and decided to pick up a vape with his grandson.
No, literally.
What the heck?
I don't know what's happening anymore. This is what I mean.
Carson, I don't think anybody knows what's really happening anymore.
I exist in a constant state of confusion. All of the ideological.
This is just a simulation. We're just being controlled by the government. That's what I believe. That's what I think. At this point.
Democrats, first of all, there's so much data coming out now that like vapes are packed full of like all of the like, yes, does vaping help you quit cigarettes?
Well, yeah,
sure, but to act like vaping is like a healthy alternative is the craziest thing of all time. And
are there any studies that show that vapes like, cause like cancer or anything, like kind of like how cigarettes like lung cancer, like how it's like related at all?
I don't know about that. I don't necessarily want to get into that just because I have no idea. I would just be firing wild, which is all I do on the show is I just fire wildly. I don't fact check a single thing on this show.
Oh, that's good. That's really good, Carson. That's great, actually.
But this
glad to know.
Anyway. I just wanted that. So I've thrown away every single one of these pamphlets that I've gotten. That's the only one that I've saved.
You need to frame that one.
It's going to go on my corkboard in my room. It's going to go somewhere. Maybe I'll get
I'll buy you a picture frame for Christmas. Just tell me the size dimension of it.
Well, I want like a big one. I want almost like, people have those like flags in their dorms of like tweets.
Oh, you want of just all that would be sick.
I want a
that
flag
would be cool.
That has just I want that pamphlet, a huge version of it as a flag.
I'm sure you could probably send in a photo somewhere like Amazon and probably get a custom one. I'm sure you could.
I might do that and just have it on my wall. I've just huge letters when you walk into my apartment.
I vape. I vote.
I vote. What a hilarious way. I mean, they should just start giving out vapes at the polls.
They really
should. Want to get young people to vote.
Yeah.
Offer them drugs.
Yeah.
And vapes. Nicotine or weed doesn't matter.
Alcohol,
drink, Bud Light, White Claws.
Yeah.
Right?
Car keys to a new car?
Whippets.
Wait, what?
Whippets.
What is, I don't know what that is. Whippets?
Huh? It's nitrous. Wait, sorry, what is nitrous? What is nitrous? What is a whippet? I don't even know I've heard this.
But
a gas that you inhale.
A gas you inhale?
It sounds like poison. I mean, it sounds horrible.
Sounds like a helium balloon, but...
It also kills your brain. Yeah, it's almost like helium.
It's almost like helium, but deadly. It's almost.
Yeah, it kills brain cells.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hand those out at the polls. That's what I'm saying.
No.
If you want to get young people out, I'm full of insane ideas. I'm full of ideas this year. And one of my ideas is that the presidential candidates, when we're going to talk about these debates here in a minute.
Okay.
But the one thing, and I've said this too before, that we should just lean all the way into the insanity here. We should let corporations just openly sponsor candidates. We should just let Trump should do a Zen ad read in between debate questions. And we're going to go
Like
on the
sponsored
break.
by
Yes, Trump's going to go, this debate is sponsored by Zen.
Home Depot.
And Trump should just like pop a Zen. They should just start doing drugs mid-debate. Like I said this during the first one with Biden. I said they should just be allowed to do drugs on the stage.
Carson, this is like a new you, and I absolutely love it.
Biden,
This is great.
They both should have been vaping on that stage. Kamala should be vaping.
No, Biden should have been getting high. That's what I
mean. With
Well,
weed,
yeah.
you could have weed.
Well, I mean, you
Biden
just
should
said
be-
vaping in that example.
Well,
but
sure.
Yeah, sorry. My bad.
Well, no. Do what my coworkers do, which is you have two vapes. You have one for weed and one for nicotine, and you hit them both. So Biden should. So while Biden was like stumbling over an answer, Trump should have just kind of shaken his head at the camera and then pulled out like a bong and just taken a huge hit and then blown a cloud in Joe's face and then like popping a Zin. They should be doing ad reads.
I do not support any of this. I'm just putting that out there now. I don't support any of this.
Mods with vape box mods.
Yes.
Blow the biggest clouds.
Well, Carson, I think my time's done here. It was nice talking to you. Bye. Bye, guys. No. I left.
Everything said on this podcast is not endorsed by Caitlyn Scott.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
All of these are my thoughts.
For the sake of my job, it's not sponsored.
I'm kidding. Do we need to cut that?
No, I think you should be okay.
We'll move on.
I think you should be
We'll
good.
move on.
Yeah.
We'll cut all that out. Nothing's good.
Nothing's gonna cut. You say that, and I watched your last podcast. I forget who it was with, and then you were just like, "We're gonna cut." You looked at the camera, and you're like, "We're gonna cut that out." And then
That's the joke.
does he? Yeah,
Nothing ever gets cut.
I could
out.
tell.
That's the joke.
I could tell.
But so that's done with that bit. But I do think they should have just done corporate sponsorships. I think that would have
Trump's
been
sponsored by Home Depot or McDonald's. That would
Raid
be
Shadow Legends.
Cool. Yeah,
Raid Shadow Legends ad read right in the middle, right in between
Right in
questions.
between. That'd be great.
We have to move on because I don't want to get Caitlyn fired from her job.
I'm already fired. It's okay. I got 1 weekend, Carson. That's all I had.
Did you watch any of the debates?
I watched 20 minutes of the last one because I was on my way home and I sat in my car for 20 minutes and I watched before I left. So
Of the one with Kamala. Trump.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one with JD Vance and stuff didn't happen yet, right?
Nope, that's next week.
That's next
we have a
week. Okay.
watch party planned for that.
Okay, I saw I didn't remember what the date was for that,
Yeah.
so I wasn't sure.
So you didn't really watch too much.
I
of it.
watched the part where Kamala Harris and Trump were both talking about immigration, and to me, Trump looked very pissed off. That's the portion that I consumed.
Yeah, I don't think he did the best. That was not his best performance in a debate.
He just looked to me very, very frustrated because I think that he was just, from what I gathered from the short 20 minutes that I watched of it, was kind of like, I don't know, he just seemed very frustrated and just really pissed off. I don't know if maybe it was something with the commentators. I can't really formulate an exact opinion on that just because I didn't necessarily watch it all the way through, or a decent majority.
There was a couple of all sides reported about it. So did Tangle and Ground News and other places too, that the ABC moderators were pretty biased or decently biased towards Kamala Harris. So I think after a while he got kind of sick of that. And as a result, she was just laying bait for him, and he was just taking every single. He fell into every single trap she laid for him that whole time. I think was probably his biggest problem. Tim Dillon made a good point. He didn't hit her hard enough on immigration. I think he probably let that. From his perspective, probably let that slide a little bit more than he could have, because that was the thing that she was in charge of when she was vice president. But yeah, she said things that should have been fact checked. She said that Project 2025 was his plan. It's not true.
I think I saw some too where she had said something about not to interrupt you, but oh, there are no people actively deployed overseas and stuff. And then there was a video of all these military guys that were in this tent being well, where the hell are we? Because they were watching the debate, I guess, from wherever they were stationed. So that necessarily wasn't true either.
Yeah, but there was stuff they should have fact checked. The Charlottesville. I've said this. I've said a lot of this before on the show, but the Charlottesville thing. I hate that that's still being taken out of context. They should have fact-checked her on that. They did not fact-check her on that. The Project 2025 thing, you can be afraid about it or not. You can like it or you cannot. Trump hasn't endorsed it. His name isn't anywhere on it.
He's said that he doesn't like it. Whether he said that because he truly doesn't like it or he's just deflecting, it doesn't matter. He hasn't endorsed it. It's not his plan. And she said that it was his plan.
Yeah.
And that's not true either. So they didn't fact check her on some of that stuff. And I think that he just got... and I think the American people probably got a little frustrated about that, especially conservatives got frustrated about that. And then Trump said no more debates.
Yeah.
So they're not doing another one.
No, I know. Yeah.
So now we just get J.D. Vance and Tim Walz, which I'm sure is going to be...
I think that's going to be good. I've seen some of the videos of like J.D. Vance and stuff where he was like at this one press conference or something, and they were like, "Oh, like how are you preparing for the debate with Tim Walz?" And he was like, "Oh, well, I had like a friend of mine who's like a big liar and deceiver, and I just had him stand in for Tim Walz."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to that one, just from that comment, from that.
I wish J.D. Vance had been like, "I'm working out, I'm drinking Prime Energy." Like, J.D. Vance should have been like, how am I preparing?
Vodka shots.
And then goes into, like, his workout plan. He's like, I'm actually selling a course on how you, too, can be prepared to debate your liberal uncle at Thanksgiving. Start selling a course. They should just start selling stuff. Just start selling courses on how to, like, defeat your liberal or conservative family at Thanksgiving dinner, guys. They should.
That'd be some really good marketing.
That's all the Daily Wire does, basically, I think. They could just do that.
Exactly. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
I'm not looking forward to it, though. I don't know why he picked J.D. Vance as his VP.
I don't necessarily have an opinion on that because I'm not going to lie, I didn't really pay attention to too much about who he was choosing for vice president. So it was just kind of like.
I thought it was going to be Candace Owens.
That would have been a good one.
How hilarious would that have been?
See, Tucker Carlson would have been good. Say what you will, but come on, that would have been fire. Come on.
Tucker would be an interesting...
That would be interesting as hell, and that would be so great.
That would be interesting to see him... That would be interesting. Yeah, well, he's doing a tour. He's doing like a live tour with his show.
Yeah.
That's just every right-wing populist now. It's like, I don't even know. He has like Glenn Beck is like going on the tour with him. And I'm just like, what are we doing?
What is happening? I think that just comes back to the overarching question of just this whole episode. What is happening? What is going on? Because we don't know. Nobody knows.
Maybe
really.
I should have opened that up with that. Is that we're just going to try to figure out one... We're gonna spend this time. We're gonna try to get to the bottom of one thing that's happened in the last month.
Yep.
And it's impossible to do.
Yep. It's impossible. There's no answers for anything. It's just we're just an anomaly. I don't know.
They're gonna have this debate on the 1st. I don't know what it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna change anybody's mind.
I don't even think really President Trump's and Kamala's even really had. I mean, I think if you don't have your mind decided by now, something is completely wrong. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion on it. I think everybody has in their mind who they know that they're going to vote for. And again, if you don't know who you're voting for by now, then...
I know a lot of people that are split between one of the two and a third party.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know many people that are on the fence between those two.
Right.
But I do know a decent number of people that are like, I might vote for Trump or Kamala. Like, I might vote for Trump, or I might vote third party, or I might vote for Kamala, or I might vote third party.
Okay.
But I don't know. But to be fair, I don't know a lot of people that are like, Trump or Kamala. I just can't seem to pick which one.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of those people.
I mean, again, it's just going back like with Hillary Clinton and Trump. It's the lesser of two evils. Just pick one. I mean, unless you do third party. But I mean, again, though, I mean, if you're choosing between them two, then it's just like pick the lesser of two evils and just...
Yeah.
History repeats itself. It's the same thing as it was in 2016 as it is now, just with somebody different. Same thing.
Yeah, it was almost the same. It was almost the same
thing. Almost the same.
We were about to get Trump versus Biden again. I think Hillary should have just thrown her hat back in this time around.
She wouldn't. No, there's no way that she would win. No way. Kamala has a better chance than Clinton.
But I think it would have been really funny to see.
Oh no, it would have been hilarious. Why can't Hillary Clinton win?
Why can't Dick Cheney throw his hat in the ring? Did you see that Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala Harris?
Yeah, I did.
And he was like, Donald Trump cannot be trusted with power. And I laughed so hard at that. I think that's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
That's the greatest.
This fucking guy. These people never go away.
No.
They never go away. They're
No.
they never die. They never, and I don't want them to, but it's
Right.
like, they never seem to go away.
No.
Dick Cheney is somehow like crawling back from the half dead, endorsing Kamala Harris. I think
Jimmy Carter's still alive. I mean, not saying that he's in the debate or anything, but he, like, to your point, they never die.
Well, I did think that it would have been really funny if George W. Bush just tried to throw his hat in the ring, like
Jeb.
somehow for a third time.
Jeb.
He would have been the youngest person on the stage.
Yeah, and that's sad.
That's insane. But I think that Dick Cheney might be queuing up for a 2028 presidential campaign. And I think that Hillary Clinton should be his running mate. I think that like they should do a team up of like every
Gavin, do not shake your head.
Right.
Jimmy Carter in there.
Jimmy Carter for like Secretary of State. Like, you know how funny that
I
would be?
can't do this anymore. Of course, if I see it.
The second time you're going to watch.
The third time will be the charm of me walking out of here legitimately.
It is just really funny, though, because, like, they never go away. It's just all of these, like, I just think all of, like, the old political dynasty families should just make one final go at it. Like, in 2028, they should all just throw their hat back in the ring. Dick Cheney, is Donald Rumsfeld still alive? He should throw his hat in.
It should be in all of their wills, like the oldest one being like, if I do not win by the time I die, you must be my successor.
Exactly. Chelsea Clinton should like make a run. Like all these people.
Hunter Biden. I mean, come on.
Wouldn't it be great to see like a debate between Hunter Biden and Don Jr.? How good would that have been? I think that's.
Hey, it could still happen someday.
I think it absolutely could still happen.
Barron Trump, wait for him.
I don't think that Hunter Biden should be denied from running for the presidency.
Just for the content.
Not even after everything that he's done.
Just for the content and for the meme. Just for the principle.
I still believe in Hunter. I was just looking into some old. This is so funny. I was speaking of like the Trump kids. Like I don't know where I saw this. I just saw some headline from like 2016, I think it was, or if it was from 20. I think it was from 2020 actually. That Eric Trump was like in Pittsburgh and stopped by Oakmont Bakery, and he was handing out cookies with Trump's face on it.
Yeah, that's right.
And Oakmont Bakery was like, to be clear, Oakmont Bakery does not
endorse Donald Trump
or support any political opinions. We are just here to sell baked goods. For those who don't know, Oakmont Bakery is a very famous bakery.
I still have yet to try
15, 20 minutes down the river.
I've yet
good.
to try it still.
It's pretty good stuff. I will admit it is pretty good, but they don't endorse any political opinions.
Only just baked goods.
Only baked goods. Eric Trump was in Oakmont Bakery handing out cookies with his father.
He just happened to stop there and happened to see that they had cookies with his father's face, and he took the opportunity because he had to.
I think he ordered them because they were in an Oakmont Bakery box that he was giving them out with.
Oh.
It's just very funny.
That's hilarious.
But I think I think Trump should just pull like just start like putting all of his family members on the cabinet. Like Don Jr. should be the secretary.
Well, Barron Trump, isn't he like something in oh my God, what did he just become a part of?
NYU. He just went to
he became like some kind of like Republican representative for something. I don't know if it was in Florida or something, or something like that. A month or two ago, something like that.
The president of the Turning Point USA chapter at New York University, Barron Trump.
It should. That would be. Come on, that'd be fire. It'd be good.
That poor kid. I hope he just never touches politics.
No, he's already in it.
Fuck all this.
I don't think no.
Barron, just go play golf, dude.
Oh, Carson, the cycle continues. It's a dynasty.
They might be. I mean, that's the reality. Is like they might be a political dynasty now. The Trumps. It's insane.
You figure Don, Eric. I mean, what you call it? Don's wife.
What's her name? I forget all the wives.
Is her name? Oh my God.
Isn't there a Lauren or a Laurie?
That's Eric's wife. Yeah, Lori. I think it's Lauren. Oh my God, I can see her.
Well, there's Ivanka, who's Trump's daughter.
Yeah.
Who she's apparently like, I don't even know. She does something for the campaign.
She does stuff, but we don't know.
They are a political dynasty now.
It's going to bother me now that I don't remember what Don Jr.'s wife's name is. Because he got divorced and then married because she used to be, I think, somebody on Fox News. Now I don't remember what her name is.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but...
Oh well,
they're a political dynasty now, and they'll never go away. Like Trump will eventually be gone. Eric will be like 75.
Well, it's like
and he'll be like
Clintons.
I'm running for president.
It's like the Clintons and it's
the
like
Kennedys,
Biden, yeah,
the Bushes,
and the Bushes. Yeah, it's the same thing.
We're just getting a new. This is just a new player.
Yeah. It's just a new, new extension.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
again, history repeats itself. You think we would learn, and we don't.
I would like to reestablish that we have endorsed Kyle Archer for president of the United States for the year 2024.
I guess I'll take it.
It just gets more insane every
It gets.
week.
It
Did you
gets more
see?
insane.
We're going to talk about this briefly, although you're no longer at Point Park. You are an
Point
alumni.
Prank.
But did you see
Point
this whole?
Prank.
Did you see the Point Prank?
Thank you.
Sorry,
It's fine.
President Brasalis, please come back. Genuinely, please come back on the show. We've been trying to get him back. But
Actually, just saw him
did
not
you
too long ago.
see? Did you see everything that happened yesterday on campus? The big protest.
Why you? No. Oh,
Yeah.
Gavin's whipping out the phone. Okay.
Gavin, can you pull up the thing?
Protest for what?
So they had an inaugural parade and
Yeah, for the president.
ceremony for
I heard
Brasalis.
about that.
The Teachers Guild striked or had a big protest. Like there's a big student and faculty protest outside of they walked along with the parade, I think, or they did their own kind of parade thing right down.
Are they affiliated with Point Park, or is this just like the?
Yeah, it's the teachers union. They haven't gotten a new contract. The administration, I guess, says what did they say? Something insane. 15 attempts at a contract, and the administration hasn't given them anything. And sorry, folks. I didn't think we were gonna get. I didn't think we were gonna get here yet. We're trying to pull stuff up so we can actually read this. It's from the Newspaper Guild,
Oh.
which is like
I did not hear
the-
about that. No, do tell.
Yeah, is this the one? Yeah. So this is from the Pittsburgh Guild. This is from their Instagram. These are the people that put on the protest. I believe this is the faculty union. So they just said after 15, yes, it's 15 bargaining sessions with the administration for a contract, and they've apparently gotten nothing.
Wow.
No progress made. So they did a big protest, and there was a student, I forget her name. I don't know if she wants me to say her name on the show. Like, not that I don't even know her, but like I don't know if maybe I won't say her name. But she went to go get a picture with Brasalis, and she had a protest sign. And I don't know who this gentleman is that ripped the sign out of her hand, but someone like ripped tried to take the protest sign out of her hand. This is all coming on the backs of. I don't think we have talked about this on the show yet.
Wow.
But this all comes on the back of that Point Park released some tax forms from last year, and we found out that $1.8 million was paid out to previous presidents that are no longer on the university. So
Presidents from how long ago?
Paul Hennigan was paid $820,000 last year.
Okay, interesting.
And he hasn't been here for what,
No.
3 or 4 years.
Yeah, like 3 years
Don
now.
Green was given $420, I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
exactly
he's been
numbers
gone
are.
for 4 years.
But
Him.
Don Green's been gone for 2.5 or 3 at this point.
He's been gone longer than that because when I first started here, that's when he was on his way out. So it's almost 4 years now for Don Green. I
Well,
think.
Don Green's my freshman year was Don Green's first year.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Never
was
mind
never-
then. I must be getting confused then.
Yeah,
I don't
we-
really pay attention. I don't. Sorry.
We were never around for Paul Hennigan. We only knew Don Green was the only president that we knew. And
Oh, I know. I knew Hennigan. Maybe
Yes,
that's
we-
who
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
thinking
right.
of. That's who I'm sorry. I got messed up.
That's okay.
Mixed up. There it is. English.
But so people are pretty upset about that because faculty are being laid off. They're cutting certain programs from the university.
How
The
much more
adjunct-
can they cut?
So they're cutting civil engineering.
Oh.
Is being cut, and those faculty are being, I believe, let go after the current cohort of students is taken through the program. So they're no longer accepting new civil engineering majors. If you're a freshman civil engineering major, my understanding is that they will teach you to the end of the thing.
Right.
They'll get you to the
Well, yeah, they
degree.
shouldn't like
Right, well, they
screw
have
you
to.
over.
they
Yeah,
have
like
to
what
do
the
that.
hell? Like
But after that, they are cutting that program, and so it just seems like there's a lot of tension on campus right now. There's a lot of students that are not happy. The teachers are not being treated properly,
I don't miss Point Prank University.
and it's just interesting. Like, so there was a big protest, and the students are not happy, and I don't and of course happened on a Friday. That
This
might
pa-
have been a strategic move because they can take because the minute. So here's the thing. I did a new bit last night in my apartment. Gavin was over. I did a new bit.
Oh God.
This is the new bit, and
Is this gonna be my third time getting?
No one's seen this before. This is the new bit. The new bit is where I just yell about Point Park University for an hour and a half at Gavin's face. It's a new bit. I've never
Can
done
we have
that
a
before.
demonstration?
Never done that before. I can't do it all here on the show, but my thought is like
Give like a 30-second clip.
well, I'm so fed up with so much stuff.
Well, I mean, too, you're on your way out. So.
I'm on my way out. I'm half it.
Trust me, you get to that point when you're at the last point. It's like all the little things, you extremely just get fed up, and now that takes the icing on the cake. Especially because you guys are what, 3 weeks in, 2 weeks in?
We're 4 weeks in.
4 weeks in.
We're 4 weeks in, and I've had about enough of everybody.
Ugh.
Faculty, not so much. Honestly, not so much faculty. The faculty have been pretty good. Administration, a little tired of them. I'm not afraid to say this. I'll say it. A little tired of them. And my fellow students, a little tired of them as well. I'm a little fed up with everybody at this point, and I'm not going to go into the whole thing.
Right,
That's not the place to do that.
Right.
I don't mean to, like, be Point Park bashing. That's not the point. I know I do this bit a lot. That's genuinely not the point. I didn't even mean to do that either. Right? The reality is this university has given us a lot of opportunities to do really cool shit, and that cannot be ignored. They let us use the studio, this amazing space. A lot of the stuff that we're doing is because we went to Point Park. That is the reality.
But
the administration knew this was going to happen. Like, they knew
No.
whenever they did a parade for Brusalis and a ceremony. And
see, I was surprised seeing that because I heard about it and I was just like, why are they having it for him now? Because I mean, I get that when he came, it's just kind of like, what was the purpose? I mean, like nothing again because I don't know him. I never really interacted with him even when I was at Point Park. So I mean, I don't have an opinion on him as like a person. Like anybody else, say what you will, but I don't have anything. But when I heard about that, I was just kind of like, why? There's no reason to.
It's all just a PR move.
Yeah, and I mean too, like even like the last president that we had prior to him when I was still here, we didn't do that.
Yeah,
and I mean, I get that it was.
Did Don Green have like an inauguration ceremony?
I don't remember hearing about one.
I don't remember hearing about
the
that
only
either.
thing that I ever heard that like if you wanted to go like pizza with the president, you could go and like meet the new guy. But like I mean, I guess that was like his.
They didn't do that, did
inauguration?
they? Did Brusalis do like a pizza with the president?
No,
type
I
thing?
don't. I don't think.
You think so?
I think he also. Yeah, he did.
He probably did. I just did. I might not have seen it, but either way, I'm a little fed up because the administration knew, like they know what the deal is. Like they pay attention to what the students are saying. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure they do. They knew that when they
They just
did
don't
this,
care.
the students were not going to be happy.
They don't care.
They knew that the faculty was not going to be happy. They probably knew there was going to be a protest of some kind. There was going to be something because the teachers union still hasn't gotten their contract.
Yeah.
They knew all.
Like,
of
why
this.
don't you, if you're gonna have like an inauguration ceremony, even if it's for like PR or whatever, like do that after you get all your shit figured out, because then after you don't have to worry about like stuff like that happening, and then it just makes your image look a lot worse than it, making it look better like you had hoped that it would have.
Yeah, I'm just a little frustrated because and so my thought was, and again, and they don't, but if anyone from Point Park's administration is listening to this, which again, they're probably not, but like, you guys need to and I was like, this is what I said to Gavin last night. I said, what they need to do is they need to organize a town hall like immediately, and they need to invite faculty, they need to invite students, they need to send out a Google form
That
where
needs to be
students
something
can
that
submit
SGA
questions.
should talk to.
SGA, I might talk to the SGA administration, see if we can get this organized, because I do think we really should do something.
Yeah.
Like the administration should agree to a town hall. They don't all have to be there. I don't know, but Brusalis should be there ideally. You should source student questions. You should vet them heavily, because the thing with Point Park students is that they'll use this opportunity to try to like score some cheap, dumb, ideological, stick it to the man type like gotcha shit. Like they'll ruin the opportunity they had. That's why I was fed up with students. I was like, they'll do this town hall, but they're gonna have to vet those questions so heavily because the Point Park students don't know how to ask like a fair, honest question.
Right.
They'll just go straight for like, why are you a scumbag? And it's like, well, that's also not gonna help the situation at all.
That you're just gonna make it worse because they're not gonna take you seriously.
Exactly. But my thought is like, there needs to be a town hall. The students need to be given a chance to voice their grievances. The faculty need to be given a chance to voice their grievances. This needs to be open. They need to vet the questions. There needs to be moderators. This needs to be in a relatively controlled environment, not in the sense that the administration gets to decide the final say on anything, but in the sense that you can make sure that there is no actual sort of unrest that goes on.
Right.
And they need to do this immediately. They should have this on Monday. I mean, genuinely, they should be like the next move that they make is to get this out there and try to calm the waters a little bit, because the longer they go saying nothing, the less the students and some of the faculty are going to trust them to fix any of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like so my question is like, why is Paul Hennigan still being paid money? Like clearly he gets a guaranteed contract. I imagine if you're a university president, if you're uprooting your life and you're moving to a new city, you're taking on this new job, you want assurances that you're going to get a lot of money.
Well, right.
But
yeah.
$820,000 for
Yeah.
the last 5 years. I mean, it's enough.
And too, and it's like why is that funding going to them when it should be going to hiring new teachers, creating new programs?
It should be going to the faculty, right?
Yeah.
That's the argument they'd make. But the question is, now, have you seen anything, Gavin? I haven't seen any sort of transparency from the administration. This information came out a couple of weeks ago about the 1.8 million. Have you seen anything, any email, anything on campus explaining why that situation is the way it is? Like, they've been really peep about this, and I think that's a problem. Like, they need to get out in front of students. They need to say, hey, this is what the deal is. Like, and also, why are presidents signing? What is this? So what did Paul Hennigan sign? Like an 8-year contract? How long was his contract? That 4 years later, he's still getting paid money. So why are you able to sign this super lengthy contract and then just leave halfway through however long?
How was this information found? How was it released?
The tax form.
Oh, okay.
They disclose how much money they're paying to different people.
Okay.
So I think it's called like a 990 form or something. It's got 909 or a 990 or something like that. And Point Park Applied Computer Science was the one that put this out. They've been the ones that are like pushing this whole thing about the money being paid, and they posted graphics all over campus about it. I don't know if those are still there or not, but it's just frustrating because it's like the administrative, like you guys, they got to put something out. Like they have to do something soon.
Yeah, but everybody knows about it now, and I mean, especially if people are going up to him with signs, trying to take a picture and stuff, and doing that kind of stuff, it's like you can't hide it anymore. Like you have to at least like release some kind of statement. Like I mean, even if you don't necessarily want to talk, at least like say something. Because you're just hurting yourself way more just by not releasing anything.
They need to make a statement. And I actually might genuinely clip this and actually like put it somewhere that they might see it because they genuinely do. They need to do this. They need to get out in front of the students.
And I mean, I think too that they shouldn't, keep downsizing all of these programs and stuff because it's like we're already a small university that kind of, in a way, like in comparison to other universities in Pittsburgh, have already a limited amount of majors that you can automatically choose from. It's like the more and more that Point Park you keep cutting, the more students are not going to be interested in wanting to come here anymore. And then they're going to go somewhere else and put their money towards a university that they feel is going to be a lot more useful than Point Park. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just the principle of it.
And I get if it's like, listen, if the civil engineering program wasn't making money,
then I get it. But I mean, at the same time, it's like,
if they weren't interested in keeping it going, then I guess I can understand that. But still, it's this weird situation where all these things kind of came to a head at once.
Yeah.
And it all kind of boiled over. And again, there wasn't, that might sound a little bit extreme. It didn't boil over. Like there wasn't unrest or anything like that. There was that video with the protest sign, which does make the administration look pretty unprofessional. People are calling it censorship. And they're saying, the protest signs are free speech. Hey guys, I'm with you. I agree. But we're at a private university. They make their own speech codes. If we were at a public university, you'd have a case. But the unfortunate reality is...
Yeah, if you were University of Pittsburgh...
And I'm literally wearing the free speech hat. Like, this is not me shilling for the administration here. Like, I'm not saying that you don't have... You don't really have a case in this instance because it is a private institution. They make their own speech codes.
Right.
If this was a public university, you'd have more of a case. But the reality is...
You'd have more leverage.
Yeah, they probably can rip a protest sign out of your hand, and they're probably not going to face many repercussions for that in terms of, like, anything, legal-wise, they're probably not because it's a private institution.
Yeah.
But it's this whole thing, it all just kind of happened at once, and it's unfortunate. We were going to try to do something, but of course we planned this vice presidential watch party thing on the 1st already. It would have been great to do something about this then, but it's like, but there's the debate. It's not going to happen any other time. And
right.
We didn't really have the bandwidth to, so we maybe want to try to get somebody on the show. We want to try to get the people that organized the protest on here. If President Bersalis is, again, I always do a bit that like Logan Paul listens to the show. It's like a bit. It's never been a thing.
Yeah.
If anyone from the administration is listening to this, I would like to interview President Bersalis again. I am going to bring this up. I will do it in a fair way. I'm not going to do any gotcha shit with him. But But this does.
No,
have
this
to
is
be-
something that you do like.
you
You
do
should
need to talk
address.
about this.
Yeah.
Like, you need to address this.
Like it's not something that you could sweep under the rug anymore. Because like again, going back to like
No.
people are holding up protest signs and doing that kind of stuff. Like you can't hide it anymore. Like you
'Cause
have to.
I have a lot of questions about the.
I think
the-
everybody has a
about
lot
this,
of questions.
But again, my questions are not like, why are you a scumbag? My questions are like, explain
Why is this
explain
happening?
the system
Yeah.
to me. Explain how the contracts work. Because if they just did that, if they just explained, hey guys, here's how the contracts work for presidents, and this is the situation with Paul Hennigan. This is the situation with Don Green. You don't have to go into the details if you're not allowed to legally do that, but give the students whatever you can to make that process transparent. Because
But
otherwise,
my thing though is like if they can't even like disclose something where I feel like is as simple as that, like what else is the university administration like not wanting people to find out? Because usually like if it's something like that where I mean it's still major, but in a sense it's probably minor in comparison to other things.
Sure.
What's the major thing that
I don't know.
you don't want people to know? If they uncover that small little minor thing, they'll uncover the major thing.
I guess. I don't know if I necessarily want to I don't know if
I mean, I don't want to
necessarily
speculate that, but I mean, though, I just feel like, there has to be some other overarching reason as to why they can't even disclose something as simple as that. Or at least put out like a statement just being like, hey, the inauguration ceremony, this is what happened. Even if you
yes.
just say like, hey, we're working on this. And then like, with the tax forms and stuff, like something like with that.
And to be fair, this is being recorded literally the day after. And this is going to come out next week.
Yeah.
So
you might find out
We'll
more
see.
in between, hopefully. But I guess in this
How-
moment right now.
how funny would it be if just they do put everything out and I just look like a total idiot on this show? Like, how great would that be if like they literally do everything I tell them and it's like, oh, what is this guy on about?
Yeah, what is he rambling about?
Because it'll be a week later whenever this comes out.
Yeah.
But that's just, I think that's what they need to do.
Hey, we're thinking about what needs to happen in the moment, okay?
Yeah, this is the moment. This is my thought. Like
Yeah.
on Monday, there needs to be a statement. They need to put out a statement. They need to put out something.
Yeah.
And
They need to put out something to try and cover their ass. I'm sorry. That's how I'm saying it. They need to find a way to
Right.
cover their ass.
They need to do something.
They need to do
because-
something. Point Park has had to do a lot of things for a really long time, and maybe, hopefully, something good comes out of this, and that maybe other things will improve. At least that's what I would hope.
Hopefully, a dialogue is started because of this. Like, hopefully, something happens.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see a town hall organized by SGA. The Bridge USA chapter would love to be there. I will moderate. We will do whatever. We will show up. If that's all about fostering dialogue with students, that is literally our job. We would love to do that. Again, if anyone's listening, they're not. I mean, who knows? I mean, listen.
Logan Paul listens, so they'll listen.
I don't know. I think the administration's again. I don't want to keep going on about this because I have for too long already. But someone's got to do something.
Carson Brunn for Point Pring president.
You can't just. Well, that's another bit that I do. I won't go into that too. But I have another bit where I.
Oh,
where
dang
I-
it.
Yeah. No.
I'm just
no,
that
no.
good. What can I say?
I do have a bit where I do a social experiment that ends with me being the president of this university.
I'd love to. That would be great.
I think I've surely I've talked about that on the show before at some
Gavin's
point.
just like, I'm tired of
We've
it.
done so many episodes.
Gavin, are you fed up with Carson at this point? Yeah.
Turns out Gavin's gonna shut everything off. Gavin's gonna cut. this
Gavin's
short.
gonna walk out and leave.
He listened to this for like 3 hours last night. He's sick and tired of me already. I could be getting done here.
How much do you pay him?
I don't get paid. We don't pay anybody anything. I don't.
Well,
we're not making any money.
you need to
doing
start
this.
paying him.
I probably should. It'd be nice if we started making some. If anybody wants to sponsor after all of this, how hilarious is this? After all that, if anybody wants to sponsor us,
Donald
reach
Trump,
out.
sponsored by Home Depot. Carson Brunn, sponsored by Donald Trump, who's sponsored by Home Depot.
I will take a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship on this show right now.
I take one
Athletic
from
Greens.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Ooh, a Dunkin' sponsor.
I want to Dunkin' because Dunkin' is like my first love. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
my husband.
you-
That's my boyfriend. That's who I'm getting married to.
to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes. I always joke around, like, even, like, when I was dating, I was like, yeah, Dunkin' Donuts, he's my boyfriend. Like, he's my boyfriend. And now, I'm single, so
Right.
now Duncan is wholly my boyfriend. So there you go. So I guess technically I'm taken, so that's logic. It's good. Aren't you glad you brought me back?
This will never air.
The one podcast that just lives in our memories.
This will stay in the depths of the Google Drive for years. This will never
Honestly,
see
if
the
you
light of
didn't
day.
release this, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, we're gonna put it out. People hear this. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss at this juncture?
How have you been, Carson? We didn't get to that. How have you been doing?
Been good. I've been good. If anyone can't tell, I'm a little fed up with school, but
Only just
Yeah, what are you gonna
Carson.
do?
We couldn't tell. It's only
but
just
again,
a little.
but again, that's new. This is a new development.
Yeah,
I'm fed up with school. A new development. This is like whenever I go on my Instagram and I'm like, listen, I don't like to get political. I don't.
But
But like every single thing I post is political, but I love doing that bit where I just go, listen, I don't like to get political on this page. We know that. We don't do. I'm gonna open up like whatever thing we do for the election. I'm just gonna open up and be like, hey, listen, guys, listen, we don't like to get political on this show.
but
We don't. We don't talk politics.
No.
We hate it.
We hate it.
But we have to do it just this one time.
Just this one time.
There'll be like 7 political episodes in a row before that. I'll say
Probably.
it anyway.
Oh, I'm sure. But
I've been-
otherwise, how have you been?
I've been good. We had a really good turnout for the debate watch party.
Yeah, I know.
We had
I
a really good
saw. I
turnout.
was so happy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wasn't
And
it
so-
what, like 60 some people?
70 people.
70
at some
people?
point. Yeah, I don't know if it was all at one time, but
I saw
got,
that Manu reposted it on the Bridge USA Instagram, the main one. And I was
Yeah.
really happy.
I got like 65. We had 65 or something new emails. We got like 60 new email addresses. It's like that's like however many new people.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay!
And so we have now this is real. Now when is it shoot? When is this going to come out? Is this going to come out the weekend before the debate, right? Yeah, so if anyone is listening to this, if you are a Point Park student, we will be having a vice presidential debate watch party in the CMI in the West Penn building, bottom floor. When you walk into the lobby, off to the right, we'll have a table set up with all of our stuff. There's going to be pizza, there's going to be drinks, we're going to have bingo cards. Haley's going to make us bingo cards. We'll make everybody bingo cards, but we're going to use them.
Oh, hey, by the way, just reiteration, everybody's going to get bingo cards. You said bingo
Yes.
cards like 3 or 4 times in a row, and I just had to point that out.
Yes, we are going to do bingo cards, and
Sorry.
we're going to have giveaway prizes for those. We're going to do gift card giveaways or something like that. And we're doing it with the CMI and the Political Science Association, so shout out to them for letting us collab with them. It's going to be cool. So if you want to come out, I think doors open at 8:30. Debate starts at 9, and we're going to have a discussion. I'll be moderating a discussion afterwards, so that'll be a lot of fun.
If Caitlyn could, she'd come back, but unfortunately, she cannot.
You can't? Why not? Just
No. What? It's on what, Thursday?
It's on a Tuesday.
Because I have work.
Tuesday. Aw, dang it.
I have work. No.
That's all right.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm going to be working weekends soon, so that's not necessarily going to be fun, but
Was that thunder? What was that?
I think they did say it was supposed to rain today.
I thought so too. I wonder if that was. I was like, what is that? Anyway, all right. Thank you, Caitlyn Scott. We appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate it, Mr. Brunn. Always a pleasure having me, or
Yep.
pleasure being here. That was the wrong way that I said that. It's always a pleasure having me here. God damn it.
It is a pleasure having you here.
Yeah, because I'm just awesome, and I'm not I'm not boring. Not boring. I mean, I am, but I'm not. But like,
That's up for debate.
shut up.
Bye,
You want to debate
everybody.
about it?